Alright guys, welcome back. Here we go again. It's another video. It's another weekend. So you've heard me mention in a couple of videos and in photos about a tour I'm about to undertake. So I want to give you a bit of an insight into what that is. So we're out here on this glorious day to give you an insight. Look at this, beautiful. Let's see if we can get around this car. Okay, so the tour, it's called the 8 Provinces Challenge. So I'll quickly break down how it's made up. So for people that don't know, Spain is divided into 17 autonomous regions. And within those regions you have provinces. So I live in the region of Andalucia, which is at the very bottom of Spain, and within Andalucia there are 8 provinces. So some of them you might have heard of, like Malaga, Cadiz or Granada. So the 8 Provinces Challenge is a road ride, not a race, to cover all 8 provinces. Like I said, I live in Andalucia, and I live in the province of Cadiz, which is at the very bottom of Spain. So for me to do this, I'm a bit of a logical thinker, my brain thinks sensibly, so I'm going to do this clockwise. From where I live, the nearest point for me really is going to be Seville. So I'm going to go from my home to Seville, which is about 220 kilometers away. And then I will start the tour from there. That will take me from Seville, that will take me into Huelva, then back into Seville, off to Cordoba, into Jaén, into Almeria, then into Granada, then to Malaga, then back into Cadiz, and finally back to Seville. So the route itself is about 2,500 kilometers. But because I will be going to and from Seville, it's going to add nearly 500 more. So for me, it's approximately 3,000 kilometers. My intention is to do 1 stage a day. So I booked a hotel for every night. So I don't need to worry about camping. I don't need to worry about carrying excess luggage. I've literally got everything just ready to go. Look at all the stalks. So the hotels I booked, they're average prices. Some of them are hostels, but I paid an average price, so I'm not in a multi-person room. You know, I haven't booked a €5 hostel with 1 dorm with 50,000 people sleeping in it. So I've gone for my own bedroom, basically. Where possible, I've also booked for my own for a breakfast. Some of them not always available. The strangest one I booked is a place in Seville with what they class as a pod hotel. So you basically sleep in a box. Yeah, I figured I might as well try it. The most interesting one is probably a place in Granada called a hotel called Two Wheels Granada. If you're ever in that area, check them out. It's a biker friendly motorcycle themed hotel. They got dry rooms, workshops, lockable garages. They've got everything the motorcyclist could want. So, and for them it's €55 a night per person, and that includes, for me, that includes tapas when I first get there, obviously the bed, and breakfast in the morning. So a couple of concerns that I have. Let's go through it. Basically it's 3. So the first one is language. Yes, I live in Spain. Yes, I've been here for over 12 years, and yes, I can hardly speak the language. So that's going to be an interesting concept, but do you know what? You got to try. You got to try. There's always Google Translate for when you're stuck. I imagine some of these places don't get too many British tourists, so they probably have a good laugh at the stupid Englishman who's ordered some sort of weird thing that doesn't exist. But hey, we'll get by. We'll get by. I know enough to go to a supermarket. I know enough to order food in a restaurant and drinks. I know how I can get by with that. The second concern is that I'm going on my own, totally isolated on my own. So my girlfriend is able to track my location via the tracker on the bike. She can also track my location via WhatsApp, but in all intents and purposes I'm on my own. I'm out there on my own. If something goes wrong, it's up to me to sort it out. There's no one to help. Which that brings me back to point one. Something goes wrong, I've got to learn Spanish very quickly. And concern number 3, and this one is yeah, it's my personal favourite of concerns. Heights. I have a terrible fear of heights. Part of this route goes from a town called Velafik, and Velafik has a road in it which is basically classed as the Spanish version of Seville Pass. It raises to 1,900 meters, and it's basically the same as Seville, just backtracking on itself all the way up, winding up a hill. The good thing about it is it's nowhere near as busy as Seville, it's not as touristy as Seville, and I don't even know if it's as high as Seville, but it's still 1,900 meters. My other concern with this is the fact that I googled the highest points in Andalucia, and Google gave me 15 replies, and this road in Velafik didn't make the top 15 highest peaks of Andalucia. What did make the top section was an observatory in Almeria. Now I will go through Almeria, and because I've joined this, I've signed up for this on a website, I've become added to a WhatsApp group, and I can see other people's progress, and I've seen the pictures of some guys outside an observatory in Almeria, and I believe that's at 3,000 meters high. The bike's in good condition, the tyres are great, it's been recently serviced, it's got decent brake pads which I changed 2 weeks ago. Everything's good. So let's talk about the bike. So what have we done to the bike? Well, basically in effect, nothing. You can tell this bike doesn't have luggage. This isn't an adventure bike with 10,000 litres of aluminium storage boxes. So the only luggage I'm taking is a 38 litre rucksack which will be strapped to the back of the bike. I'll show you a picture of that in a little while. And a magnetic tank bag. That's it. The actual bike itself, modifications, very few. You can see here there is a USB and a USB-C power outlet. That is so I can charge my phone and the Insta camera on the bike continuously if need be. Obviously the camera, the quad Loctite mount on the front here. This is for the telephone. On that is the app Mappy, and downloaded into that is the entire route for all of it. Other than that, this thing here, this is a crash helmet lock, so when I'm not on the bike I can lock my lid to the bike and I don't have to drag it around with me. Other than that, absolutely nothing changes. For myself, there's a few changes. Yeah, I've done a couple of bits. So you might notice that I'm wearing sunglasses. These are a bit different. They're Bluetooth. So in Spain you're not allowed to wear headphones or earphones that go in your ears. So these have got speakers in the arms of the glasses, so which sit and the speakers sit right next to your ear. So I'm going to try these out. They're not super comfortable though, I must admit, so I'm not sure if I'll use them a lot. But for the long ride up to Seville, straight out the motorway, I can put some music on and just enjoy myself. In my ears, I've just bought a pair of noise cancelling earplugs. At the moment, are they working? I guess they are. I'm wearing them, I'm trying them for the first time. I've had them for about 3 weeks, the first time I put them in my ears. The idea being that if you sit on motorways or long trips, the wind noise damages your ears and it causes fatigue, making you tired. So the plan is that that's taken care of. The other major thing is I purchased a pair of what they call Apex rides. I think if you guys ever heard of these, they're basically padded underwear. And the idea behind this is basically the same as all these cyclists you see in Lycra wear padded pants so that they don't get sore asses. Well, Apex rides is basically the same thing, but instead of being bicycle pants, they cover more of the arse, but so because you're sitting on a wider area. I'm trying these for the first time as well. To be fair, they are very comfortable. They are very comfortable. When you get off the bike, you feel like you're wearing a nappy of some sort that you've filled up. But I suppose it takes some getting used to. If you're interested in this sort of thing for touring, I'll put a link down below. I think they're supplied by a company called Ripple, and they're called Apex Rides. But yeah, very good. So I've invested in a microphone. Granted, it's wired because 200 quid for a wireless mic. I'm not sure it's worth its value at the moment. I think that it produces quite a good sound, so I bought another one which I'm going to try and mount on the front of the bike here and see if it can just capture the bike noise. So the tour itself, I've got a map. What I'll do, let's cut to the map. I will show you the route on a paper map so you get an idea of where things are and the idea of the size of Andalucia. So let's jump into the map now. So this is the map of Andalucia. It's quite a large area of Spain. So to give you an idea, I think one map square is about 100 kilometers. This is Gibraltar, the overseas British territory, and I live roughly in this region here. So for me, day one would take me up towards Jerez, where I can miss the motorcycle racing, unfortunately, by a couple of weeks. And then from there, I'll head up into Seville. So my first day of proper riding from Seville, I will come out into Huelva, and I will follow the road all the way to the top, and then back into the province of Seville again. Day two will take me a nice winding route all the way up to Alcaracejos in Cordoba. And then day three will bring me all the way back down here to Carzola in the province of Jaén. And from there, this is a really beautiful area. This is natural park. It's going to be woodlands and forests and lakes and reservoirs. It'll be beautiful. So on that day, I will follow the route down. This will bring me to Bacarez, which is in Almeria. So this is where probably the high points are. I mentioned in the video earlier a place called Velafik, which is here. So that road I was talking about goes from Velafik to Tabernas. So on this day, obviously we'll leave Bacarez, we'll follow the route down, and this will bring us into Granada. Now, won't be staying here. I'm going to stay up here. This is the Two Wheels Granada Hotel. The next day I'll come back down and I'll carry the route all the way around the bottom of Malaga area and into Antequera, which is in Malaga province. And then the final day, which will bring me out and bring me all the way around this area. This is the Grazalema National Park. Again, this is going to be a place of real beauty. And then I will end that day back up in Seville. Now, depending on the time I get to Seville, I'll either come straight home or I'll stay there, because then it's still another 200 odd kilometers all the way back down to where I live. So it's a fair route. Definitely keep me busy for a week, I guess. So that's the map. It's quite an impressive route, to be fair. This isn't something that I've created. This is created by a group called Road Team España, and I don't know who these guys are. I'd never found them before. I just came across this website, and they rode this route. They plotted all the points, and then they put it out, and people sign up for it. So it cost me €30 to sign up. For that I get all of the full information of where I'm going to go, a t-shirt, like body warmer things, and a couple of stickers and a couple of sew-on patches and stuff like that for €30. You know, it's worth €30 just for the merchandise. You don't have a rush to get this done. There's no time limit. It's not, and it's certainly not a race. I think you could start from the 1st of March and you have to be completed, I think, by the end of September. So yeah, plenty of time to do it. Average per day, 300 to 350 kilometers. The worst day will be the first day, which is nearly 400 kilometers, but then there's other days it's 250. So the only regret I have with this really is the fact that I can't give it more time. Like I say, I'm going to do one stage per day. I would like to do one stage over 2 days, but unfortunately, like the rest of the world, I have a job and I have a normal life, and I can't dedicate that much time. The good thing is, basically I can do this, and if there's somewhere I like, I can go back to it. Look at that view, look at that view. Man, I live in a beautiful country. Come on guys, admit it. You can't beat a bit of Spain. And I'll be honest with you, I'm only about 16 kilometres from my house. This is a beautiful little road. Anyway, back to the tour. Let's have a quick look. A couple of photos I took last week where I'm working out what I'm going to take and how I'm going to pack it. Let's have a quick look at the pictures.
So this is the stuff that I want to be taking. This is basically a selection of tools, camera equipment, locks, the bags that I'm going to carry. The 2 yellow bags are dry bags. I've actually got 4 of those. They will contain, 2 of them will contain clothes, 1 will have tools, and the other one will have electronic gear. So this is basically a breakdown of what I want to take. Like I said before, I don't have tons and tons of luggage space on this bike, so this is now how it will look once it's fully loaded. So the rucksack is strapped to the back of the bike with 4 tie downs. The magnetic bag is on the tank. I can actually put the magnetic bag on top of the rucksack because I've got more tie down straps if I need them. You'll notice at the bottom right corner, well, at the front of the bike, there is the reserve petrol tank. So I won't be putting that there. That's just there for photographic reasons. It will be on the other side of the bike, away from the exhaust. So just a demonstration. So that's what we're looking like, fully loaded.
So when it comes to camera equipment, I'm only taking 2, the 2 Insta cameras. So the one on my chin at the moment is the Insta360 X2, which has been a fantastic camera for the last couple of years for me. And the one on the handlebars is my new one, the Insta360 X5, which has just been released. They're the only 2 that come with me. That's all I need. I think the X2 will predominantly stay on my chin. The X5 will be used for, like it is now, on the handlebars, or mounted to the back of the bike for aerial shots.
So that's basically it, guys. 1 week riding around the bottom of Spain on my own, 3,000 kilometres. Really can't wait. I'm absolutely stoked to be taking part. I hope you found this informative. I'm going to add a load of information in the description about what I'm taking, the actual products as well, in case any of you are interested in some of the items I've mentioned. And I hope to catch up with you all in a couple of weeks. Have a good one, guys. Thanks.